Looking for a hassle-free way to rent a car in Grenada? Welcome to Ride Car Rental, offering efficient, time-saving service with affordable rates and 100% paperless rentals. Whether you're visiting or need a quick ride, we've got you covered. Call now at 473-422-1011 and get behind the wheel today. Ride Car Rental, where convenience meets the road.
Good morning, clubbers. So grateful to have you here for another edition of the Wake Up Club. I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to spend with us this morning. Always appreciate your time. It's a beautiful day. It's another day filled of opportunities, blessings, lessons. We've got to embrace it all. So many opportunities there, not only for myself, but for you. So I want to encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. So many people keep complaining to me that, they're struggling. But listen, it's also an opportunity for you to think outside the box, Think about starting a side hustle. Listen, the lessons are also blessings. The struggles are also blessings. I know it's very easy for me to say that to you, but I'm just saying, we've got to start thinking outside the box. There must be something that you're good at. Most of the people that I know that are thriving right now, it's because they have a side hustle. And maybe it's something for you to think about and also explore. But as I said, I'm very happy that you've taken the time to join us on the Wake Up Club. I appreciate you. I always say that. You're on the Ride Along Network. We know you have choices, and I'm so happy that you've decided to tune into the Wake Up Club. This morning we have a fantastic show. We're going to talk about what irks Kirk, but what irks Kirk really isn't really the topic this morning. It's about what makes me smile, and what makes me smile also irks me, because sometimes I think we prefer to wallow in the negativity that's out there in Grenada and in the wider world, when there's so much positivity happening right at home that we turn a blind eye to. But I know it's easier to be comfortable to look at the negative and to choose to share the bacchanal and to share the confusion, because I do understand it. I think that as humans, we enjoy the misery of others. And I don't know if it's enjoyment, but I think it also takes us away from our own issues. So it's easier to share the bad things or the issues out there on social media, because it takes us away from dealing with our own shit, so to speak. But listen, we have a fantastic show in store. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what makes me smile and what irks me this morning. Thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club. I'm your host, Kirk. We'll be right back.
Experience the thrill of Riders Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.
Welcome back, clubbers. And of course, this morning, it really isn't about what irks me. It's about what makes me smile. And you see this right here? This makes me smile. Yesterday, I was so proud to see a Grenadian team of students at the World Robotics Competition in Greece. Yeah, I remember tuning on YouTube and I saw this and I was like, wow, look at this. Look at what's happening here. Look at this positivity. And what made me listen, we're living in a world where it's all about technology. We're all talking about food security. And there we have these young ladies out there, really representing Grenada. So listen, they're in Greece at the first Global Challenge. It's a premier global student robotics competition. It started yesterday and it will run until the 29th of this month. It's at the Staphos Licharos Foundation Cultural Center in Greece. Of course, this year's challenge is themed Feeding the Future. And the Feeding the Future Robotics Challenge inspires participants to use their creativity and critical thinking skills to design and build a robot from a standard kit given to them, of course, from parts. The first global team must then maneuver their robots in a simultaneous world that emphasizes the intricate and independent relationship between water, food, and energy systems. Listen, now this is not the first time Grenada is being represented at this competition, but of course this year it's happening in Greece, and I am so proud, number one, because it's an all-female team, but that they're representing Grenada out there in the technology world. We're not left behind, okay? They're representing Grenada out there in the technology world. You know what irks me? What irks me is I was looking at the live opening ceremony. And listen, these young ladies out there representing us, they're from the TAMCC Robotic Club. They're meeting up with students from over 130 countries worldwide. So it's a phenomenal experience for them in terms of growth and building relationships and meeting like-minded people out there. But I was watching the live and listen, everybody putting up their flag and I can't see no Grenadian watching the live. And I think sometimes these opportunities, probably we're not interested in promoting them. Yes, I saw this as a clip on, I saw them going as a clip on MTV. I saw it on GBN. But this was the opening ceremony, okay? In Athens, Greece, the home of the Olympics. And this is like the Olympics of technology for these students. And there was not a Grenadian under there putting up the Grenadian flag. Listen, we got to start to celebrate the things that are positive. I know it's easier for us to sit down and discuss whether Guava asleep or dead, whether the security and KFC woman leave him. Listen, there's so much positivity out there. And I think that and I'm encouraging you this morning to make a conscious decision to build Grenada instead of breaking it down. And you could simply do that by sharing the positive things that are happening in Grenada. But first of all, you've got to want to embrace that positivity and you've got to want to see Grenada go forward. So I want to congratulate the team at TAMCC. I want to congratulate the government for funding this initiative. I want to congratulate these young women for going out there. Whether you win or you lose, well, you could never lose. These young women could never lose because the fact that they're on a world stage, okay, and they're dabbling, in a competition with countries from all over the world makes them winners already. And I know these young women are going to come back to Grenada inspired because they've met like-minded young men and young women the world over. So you could never lose. And Grenada will never lose if we continue to invest in our youth and invest in the things that matters. This is technology. This is about food security. It's all the way about what's happening in the world today. So I really want to encourage you this morning. I told you last program to call somebody and check on them. I hope you did. This morning, when I look at Facebook, I want to see you sharing something positive about Grenada. Please, I am begging you to share something positive that is happening. I want to also commend these students and their parents, because I know it's not an easy task to send your children halfway around the world. But this is a great opportunity for them. And I said, I want to encourage you to look for the positive. So you see, there was positivity this morning. It's not about what irks Kirk. What irks me is that you all not sharing the positivity. You know, we sharing all the other bacchanal and the nonsense in Grenada. But at the same time, I understand it. Sometimes we need distraction from the nonsense and the mess that's happening within our own lives, that it's easy to look down on other people, or it's easy to share and relish in somebody else's misery. That ain't good for you, and it ain't good for me. So let me try to do better, okay? We take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting with a very good friend of mine. Her name is Sheena Andrew Barry. She's no stranger to the Wake Up Club. She participated this year in the Miss Curvy Globe in Los Angeles. And of course, she was triumphant, did very well, represented Grenada to the best of her ability. And she's now looking to start the local leg of selecting delegates for the competition for 2025. So we're going to be chatting with Sheena about her experience. We're also going to be talking body positivity, because you know, the beauty industry, it has a cookie cutter effect. You're expecting these slim, trim girls in the beauty industry, but we know beauty is beyond face and the superficial nonsense that society has told us what it is about. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting with Mrs. Sheena Andrew Barry. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to take your business or event to the next level? Advertise on Ride Along Live and reach over 10 million viewers worldwide every month. With a global audience tuning in for the latest news, entertainment, and culture, your message will get the exposure it deserves. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your brand to a diverse and engaged audience. Ride Along Live, where the world watches and your business grows. Contact us today to get...
Gas prices got you down? Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
Welcome back, folk. And of course, my guest is my very good friend, Sheena Andrew Barry. She has been on this program before. We had a little conversation with her when she was getting ready to represent Grenada at the Mrs. Curvy Globe in Los Angeles, California during this year. I also mention her because she's somebody that's close to my heart, a very good friend of mine. And of course, we didn't get a chance to chat with her about her success at the competition, but I felt it only fitting to chat with her now that she's looking to bring the local leg of the competition to Grenada so that we could select three representatives, because she'll tell us all about the competition and all of that for the 2025 competition. I'm happy about it because, I've seen it, and we've seen it on the Ride Along Network so many times. There's so many competitions out there that say they promote positivity, they promote beauty, and lately we've seen our girls take part in competitions that were not, were run by crooks, were not legitimate. We had a whole ride along episode about what happened in St. Vincent with one of our curvy girls who went to represent us there. So I was so happy when Sheena told me about Mrs. Curvy Globe, because it's all about body positivity, and it is so much more. Sheena, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Kirk, and thank you so much for having me, my good friend.
Okay. Listen, I know you, but I don't know if everybody know you. I remember first meeting you. You worked for the late, great Leslie Pear, so I know that you have a strong media background. But just in a quick little bit for the Grenadians who don't know you, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am Grenadian. I used to be one of our outstanding athletes. I was the gold medalist for shot put. Um, I worked with Leslie Pear. I worked with the Grenada Informer. I worked with also Andre Donald. I was the news director there for Real FM.
Mhm.
I'm a mom and a wonderful wife.
No? Listen, okay. Now I remember you came on the program earlier this year, and we were
Yes,
speaking about your preparation for Mrs. Curvy Globe.
that's
Now
correct.
I tuned in every chance I got, and I was so proud because I said, there's enough people out there talking about the negative things that are happening in Grenada. There's enough of that out there, Sheena, that I felt that, okay, the Ride Along Network is a balanced network. You'll have Mr. George doing his thing, but I
Mhm.
really wanted the Wake Up Club to celebrate positivity. Now here's the segment that called What Irks Kirk, that gives them the bacchanal and the TV that people like. And sometimes people may not like the program because they prefer that I'm talking bacchanal and I'm talking all of that. But I'm talking positivity. And tell me about this experience for you. Because remember, the beauty pageant world, which I'm a guru at because I've been doing this for many years, features on the slim, trim, unmarried women and provides that opportunity for them. But there's so many beautiful women in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they don't get that opportunity to go out there and to celebrate themselves. Tell us about your experience and how you got involved in Mrs. Globe.
Okay, so we'll start with the latter part of your question in
Uh,
regards to how it started with Mrs. Curvy Globe. So I was introduced to Mrs. Curvy Globe, and when I was told about it, I started my research. I brought it to my husband, and I said, I was invited to participate in this. And he's like, you have to have a reason why you want to participate in a beauty pageant. And when he said that, my answer, Kirk, would have surprised, I think it would surprise everyone who is on this live. My answer is like, I'm doing this for me. I want to celebrate me.
mm-hmm,
Because in my 40 years, because I took part in the pageant when I was 40, in
mm-hmm,
all of my 40 years, I've never celebrated myself. I have celebrated multiple people, helped multiple people, but I have not done anything for Sheena. So Sheena wanted to do something for Sheena, to celebrate Sheena, do something different, add another label to my name, not a negative label, but another positive label just for me.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you the question. The Mrs. Globe under the Win Foundation is about celebrating women and body positivity.
Activity.
You are what we consider a curvy woman. Were you always body positive about yourself?
No, I will not lie, Kirk. I am the one who would walk into the room, have the most beautiful smile, but look for the seat in the back. Because
Okay,
I
tell
didn't
me.
want nobody to say, "Oh, your back is broad," or you're blocking me. So I always wanted to secure myself by
Mhm.
sitting in the back and not causing myself to be stereotype, as I would say.
Okay.
Yes. So it was hard growing up. I was the chunkiest
Mhm.
girl in my class.
Mhm.
So which made me when it was time for school, and I'm going to give you a little insight, and you maybe you may laugh, maybe you may not.
Uh-huh.
When I was in St. John's Christian Secondary School,
Uh-huh.
when it was preliminaries for sporting events, like take for example the shot put that I spoke about earlier,
Uh-huh.
I will not go because I didn't know how to hold that ball, and I didn't want to say people say, "Oh, you're fat and you're weak." These are things that people look at plus size women or curvy people to think, "Oh, you would not amount to anything good in life. You're just weak. You're ugly. You're fat." These are
Mhm.
some of the labels that I had on my name growing up, right?
Mhm.
And I remember Jelani Green, I hope that he's looking,
Mhm.
I was sitting in the classroom and he's like, "We have trials for shot put. Why are you still here?" I was like, "Because that's not my thing.
Mhm.
Because I don't want nobody labeling me." He's like, "Could you just at least get up and go and try?" Cook, I
Mhm.
tried. He showed me right there and then how to throw the shot put. And I tried and I emerged the winner. Then
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, we have to do training." I was like, "I don't want to go do training. Walking up to St. John's Christian Secondary School is enough training for me, and walking back to get home." And he's like, "Give yourself a try." So I was the chunky girl, but then I was the girl who started to not see myself as a negative, because guess what? I was one of the first athletes to walk on the National Stadium ground to represent Grenada in Carifta.
Hey, listen, you know, incredible journey, and I think there are a lot of people here who listening your story who can identify with you get into a room but you want to be lost in the back of the room,
Exactly.
because that self-confidence isn't there. Now you took part in Mrs. Curvy Globe, which is, listen, shot put you in a shorts, you in sweats, you're sweating, it's a whole different world from the beauty pageant industry, which is, putting on the nice fancy clothes, the dresses, the crown, the makeup. So it's taking you from one world into another. Tell me about that journey.
That journey was incredible. I remember just being coronated, putting on that fancy dress. I was never one to have worn a fancy dress with sparkles, and then with the crown. When I received the crown, it was different. So it took me from being Sheena, the quiet and backseat person, to
Mhm.
Sheena, I'm here and I have a voice. I want to be seen. I want to be heard.
Okay, so Sheena, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to hear all about the 2024 competition and your experience there.
Yes.
Folks, which you tuned into the Wake Up Club, we take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Call Instaprint Grenada today. Located inside Ryder Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Welcome back to the Wake Up Club, folk. Of course, I'm chatting with Mrs. Sheena Andrew Barry, the People's Choice Miss Curvy Globe. Sheena, welcome back.
Thank you.
Listen, Sheena, tell us about the competition in LA and you getting there, meeting women from all over the world, a whole different world celebrating body positivity. Tell us about the competition, because when I looked at the competition, I was a bit confused because I saw so many different people being crowned. So I know the competition within itself has three different categories. Tell us about those categories and then tell us about your personal experience.
Okay, so just a little correction, Kirk. It's not in LA, it is in Palm Springs, California.
Okay.
That's where I
Okay.
represented. And
Okay.
so traveling to Palm Springs, I left from Grenada, which was the best thing ever, because then I got to greet people at the airport. And
Mhm.
just before leaving Grenada, I had to do fundraisers because the Mrs. Curvey Globe, or the Mrs. Globe organization, works is a charitable pageant where you literally would raise funds for women in need. And that is one of the things that caused me to literally get involved in the Mrs. Globe world. Because once a Globette, you're always a Globette. So when
Okay.
I got coronated, I became a Globette. I am a representative of Grenada, but I also wanted to raise funds for women in need because I help women most of the time. If not every week, I am certain that I'm helping more than one or two people within the communities of Grenada. That's
Okay.
why I said I was quiet. I am the
Mhm.
quiet type who does things behind closed doors.
Mhm.
So getting involved in Mrs. Globe has changed me, not just for the pageant, but for the rest of my life. Because I gained Globette sisters,
Mhm.
um, over 50 of them.
Mhm.
Nobody treated me as though I was too big. I was not welcome. It's all inclusive. Everybody is welcome at Mrs. Globe. Mrs. Globe, and when I left, but before I left, I was aware that the competition that I was going to in California was going to be for Mrs. Curvy Globe. It would have participants for Mrs. USA Globe, Mrs. USA, and Mrs. Classique.
Okay. So break that down
Right.
first. Tell me a little bit about that. Okay.
So
So
with
Mrs.
all these
Classic. What is
categories,
Mrs. Classic?
Mrs. Classique is for women around the world who are between the ages of 45 and older. See themselves as beauty queens, have a voice, because I would say people don't literally listen to us when we don't have a crown and a sash. But once they see you walking with a crown and a sash, they have the most questions, and they treat you differently. They listen because now they believe that you are a queen and you have something to say, so I want to listen. So for persons who are 45 and older, they are participating in the Mrs. Classic Glow.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a Mrs. Classic USA.
Okay.
So the person who is participating in the Mrs. Classic USA is literally participating for the USA title to take part in the Mrs. Classic Globe next year,
Okay. And
right?
then there,
There,
go ahead. And then there's a Mrs. Curvy Globe.
there's a Mrs. Curvy Globe. Mrs. Curvy Globe is for every woman who is size 12 plus to 22 who wishes to represent their country on the global stage. I will say this is history because this is Grenada has only been represented for the first time, which
Mm-hmm.
was with me. That's the reason why I would love to see more Grenadians holding that flag and going out there to showcase our country, beauty, talent, everything that we have. So like I explained, Mrs. Globe, Mrs. Classique. Then we also have Mrs. USA, which
Mm-hmm.
means the person winning Mrs. USA gets an opportunity to represent the United States of America in China on the Mrs. Globe stage.
Okay.
So just to say, the Mrs. Globe is the entire body, right? But it hosts different segments of pageants that raises funds for the Win Foundation. So when I say the Win Foundation, I am saying that once we raise the funds and
Mm-hmm.
we submit it to the Win Foundation, it helps women. The Win Foundation is another charitable body that what would happen is that whatever money's raised, they literally help women in need. We also, as when I signed up and was onboarded, I was given a gift of the Reclaiming Me classes. I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people may be wondering what gift is the Reclaiming Me classes. The Reclaiming Me classes are part of the Win Foundation, where you would be going into classes and speaking up. You would literally hear other women's stories about overcoming a narcissistic relationship. It's a lot, but it's a place where you would find peace. You would listen to other person's stories, or you would look into your soul and say, you know, what Dr. Tracy just said touched me.
Okay. Now, I want us to get back to that, but I want to hear about your experience. What were the categories like? Because I know it's not a typical pageant where, listen, before I even go there, I have to say a special good morning to Shemba Wells, of course, pageant guru extraordinaire. You know, when it comes to pageants, Shemba is the person, the go-to person to talk to and ask for advice, and I'm happy to see him on with us this morning. But back to you, Sheena. What was that feeling like representing Grenada, wearing that, having that flag in your hand? Tell us about your personal experience in the competition and the categories.
Okay, so there are there are three categories that we were judged on. It was our personality profile, our summer wear, and our evening wear. Um, I remember the very first day of the pageant week, we were told to walk with our wardrobe because we're going to be trying it on, and I was like, huh? I thought my wardrobe would be at the end of at the final day and not at the first day.
Mhm.
And when we went to the back, shout out to the BVI ladies. I didn't have assistance because I did not have a I didn't have assistance, and I needed to hook my back of my dress. And I was like, the shy part of Sheena came back again. I was afraid to ask. And there was Amoy, who is from the BVI. She's like, do you need some assistance, Sheena? I was like, yes. Amoy is really sweet. And that sisterhood started where everybody was helping you put on your stocking, helping you fix your top, fix this. So I remember when I put my dress on, because I tried my dress when I got it, but
Mhm.
being around all these other women and looking at our evening gowns, and we were all happy. Oh, you look so beautiful. That changed a whole part of me
Mhm.
because I realized that I have just gained a sisterhood, and this is no longer a competition. This is a
Mhm.
pageant. This is where you get to explore the world. And that's where I started to shift from being in competition mode and being seen, being seen by not just me, but by the world. So
Okay.
that was
So,
my
yeah.
very
So tell
start.
me about it. You said there was summer wear, evening wear, but what's the first category you spoke about?
Personality profile.
Tell me about the personality profile. What is that?
Personality profile is where you get a chance to speak for 1 minute, and in that 1 minute, you have to encompass anything that you want the world to know about you.
Okay. And what did you speak about?
So I definitely spoke about first loving yourself.
Okay.
Um, because that was my biggest problem. I loved everybody else, but I did not love who Sheena was. And I have started to overcome all that stigma that I had about, oh, you're a plus size, so they wouldn't love you. I had a very strong family and who always said, you are your own person. You are cut from your own cloth. So first love yourself. That's what I spoke about. I spoke about what society was expecting of me and I couldn't give it to them. So I had to start to accept who I was.
And what did you think society was expecting from you?
Society wanted somebody slender. Society
Okay.
wanted somebody who was not, whose size was not in the double digits. I was never a zero. I don't ever think I was a zero. And I don't ever think I was a size 8 because I remember at age 11, that's when I was entering high school. I my I my shoe size was a size 10.
Mhm.
My dress size, if I'm not mistaken, was a 14. So I was
Mhm.
never a size 8. And if I was a size 8, my mom, may her soul rest in peace, um, I hope that I would have remembered. But that would have been when I was between the ages of 3 and
Mhm.
10.
Mhm.
If I'm going to say I was between the, and that's what people was looking for, and I thought that's what you needed to be in order to survive in society and for people to like you, for you to be seen on TV or for you to be seen with other queens. But that changed with Mrs. Globe.
Okay.
It's not nice knowing like you're walking around and you're walking with slender people and guys are like, hey, slim thing, the way they literally made you know that I'm not checking on you because you're fat, because of
Mhm.
the way they would have reached out to your friend, hey, slim thing, you know, not hey, beautiful, but hey,
Mhm.
slim thing, hey, fat girl.
Mhm.
it was growing up. It was hard, and we know that in Grenada, we
Mhm.
know that we like to put people aside, and Mrs. Globe changed that. I recall saying I was never told you're beautiful. But I remember putting on this crown, and I remember starting to walk with my head held high. And when I was passing by persons from in the hotel, oh my God, you're so beautiful. What are you taking part in? It felt good to talk about it and to send people to vote for me, even when I was in California.
Hmm. No, I know it's something that we deal with as Caribbean people, and I think I don't want to go off track, but because I think it's such an important point that you raised, that a lot of our children grow up without being told, especially our young women, that
Exactly.
they're not being told, and it's not instilled in them from birth that they're beautiful. I know I talk to a lot of young women, and sometimes they've never been told by their parents that they were loved. So I think that,
True.
I'm just saying that to say that, for the parents who are listening today, I know I always challenge you: pick up the phone, call somebody, spread something positive. Tell your children and your young girls this morning how beautiful they are and how much you love them. Now, Sheena, body positivity, self image, you're in this competition, and not only are you doing well, you are crowned Miss Curvy Globe Choice of the People worldwide. What was that moment like for you? Because we have a beautiful photo of you lining up with all the winners. Okay, you're looking stunning, yes, but I want to hear about that feeling. Okay, because you're not only Sheena representing Grenada, you're a mother as well. What was that like for you?
That was enlightening. That was like, because I would be very honest, all during the pageant, I've been asking for persons to support me for the choice of the people, because that's the way we raise funds for the WIN
Mm-hmm.
Foundation. And there were 6 weeks I was leading right through, and then I was dethroned from that lead by Mrs. Great North. It was
Uh,
like, okay. I came back on Facebook and I asked her, hey, can you guys continue voting? And then the next week, when Spiro Campbell would have posted in our group chat who is leading, when I saw my name back up at the top, I was like, okay, we're doing something. I would not lie. My
mhm,
brother Preston, who was there as my chaperone, did
mhm,
a live the morning and said that we were leading. That's before the final and before the closing for voting. And I was like, oh my God, it's the final day. I could get knocked out of that
mhm,
final. And he's like, why are you being so negative? And then, he kind of built up on the nerve. And the night, because we didn't know, because nobody sent out a notification of who is leading in the choice of the people. So that night, I went on that stage. I had on my costume, I had on my summer wear, and I had on my evening gown. And I was like, well, this is it, Sheena. It's either you're knocked out or you go home, but you go home a queen anyway.
mhm,
Kirk,
mhm.
when they called the People's Choice, I don't know if you looked at the live press and screamed, yes, Grenada. And
Well,
I
to
was
be
like,
very honest,
woo, we did that.
everybody know your brother. I could hardly hear what was going on because all I could hear was Preston screaming and yelling, "Grenada to the world! Grenada to the world!" you know.
It was
Listen.
exciting. It was like, I did not get the title Mrs. Curvy Globe, but I
Mhm,
won a world title. And
mhm,
that's one of the things that I appreciate about Dr. Tracy Campbell and
mhm,
her team. They recognize us women. I might be the charitable queen, but they recognize every queen. And that night, I will not lie, Kirk, when I won, it was unbelievable.
mhm,
It was a relief. And I got to stand among all the other previous queens.
mhm.
And that was great. So the picture that you have up, these are
Yeah.
all of us who competed and
Mhm.
made it to the finals. We are all
Okay.
semifinalists and finalists. And next to me, if you look on the left,
Uh-huh.
That's Mrs. Curvy Globe 2024, which is Tabasum.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful lady.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I felt like I was the baby
Uh-huh.
at the pageant because I had a little bit of personal issues going on, and
Yeah.
Tabasum took care of me. Amoy took care of me. Pamela Mick took care of me. Maria took care of me. All the ladies standing there, we
Mm-hmm.
all sat at the back. We all sat in meetings, and nobody made you feel unwelcome. Nobody did not make you feel like you were too big.
Okay.
You were.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk about, because I know as part of your prize package, you were given the opportunity to attend the Win Foundation's annual workshop for women in Greece. Listen, what an incredible opportunity. When we come back, I want you to share your experience in visiting Greece and being part of this workshop that celebrates and brings phenomenal women from all around the world together. We take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be chatting more with Mrs. Sheena Andrew Barry.
Are you looking to take your business or event to the next level? Advertise on Ride Along Live and reach over 10 million viewers worldwide every month. With a global audience tuning in for the latest news, entertainment, and culture, your message will get the exposure it deserves. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your brand to a diverse and engaged audience. Ride Along Live, where the world watches and your business grows. Contact us today to get started.
Welcome back, folk. Of course, you're tuned in to the Wake Up Club. I'm chatting this morning with Choice of the People, Mrs. Curvy Globe, Sheena Andrew Barry. We're chatting about her experience at the Mrs. Curvy Globe 2024 competition. Now, Sheena, I know that part of what we're talking about today is also trying to get. We're going to be launching the local leg of the competition because we're trying to get more Grenadian women to enter the competition. I will talk a little bit about that. But one thing that I found was extraordinary is because, we talked at the beginning about the program that there's so much ratify out there under the
Mm-hmm.
guise of pageants. We had that happen in St. Vincent with our very own girl. And I was happy to see what a wonderful pageant the Miss Globe Foundation hosts under Dr. Tracy and the Win Foundation, because I also ask about it here because, I've been involved in Queen Show for many years, and often after the Queen Show, those girls are left behind. We don't hear about them, nothing happens. And I was so happy when you told me that they were sending you to Greece to participate in this fantastic workshop that brings women from all shapes, backgrounds, some of the greatest professionals in the world thriving in business. Forbes magazine, you talk all about it together in a women empowerment conference. Tell me about that experience.
So the feminine divine was divine indeed. When we were in California, we were given the invitation for the feminine divine, which works in collaborations with the Win Foundation and also with Mrs. Globe. What that conference did is bring not just the queens, but it's for every woman throughout the world to come and find themselves. So Dr. Tracy, in my second day in California, would have had a speech where she talked about finding her, right? And that's the thing I like about Mrs. Globe, because it's not just about the pageant. It's about you, the individual. It's about you becoming a better version of your past self, letting your past self go and finding the new you. And I remember her speaking about finding her, and I was like, oh, and the Divine Conference. I was like, okay, like it was advertised and everything. And when I was given the opportunity and I was like, okay, I could go to Greece, I was like, that sounds phenomenal. But getting to Greece, Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
when you got there on the very first night, Dr. Tracy recognized all of her queens with a bouquet. And I'm going to be very honest here, guys. When I got there, I did not, I thought choice of the people is, not a big deal. It is a big deal. You are a world queen
Mm-hmm.
and you are recognized for that. And you are always going to be recognized for that.
Mm-hmm.
And getting that bouquet of flowers and just listening to Dr. Tracy speak about all the good things that I would have done for the Wing Foundation while going to participate in the pageant. But that's the thing. The Feminine Divine Conference was not about the pageant. It was
Mm-hmm.
about you. It was about finding you. And it was an eye opener. Some of the things I mentioned earlier, which I held on to. I thought I wasn't good enough to be told that you're beautiful. I wasn't good enough to be told that I love you because, like I said, may God rest her. So I don't recall hearing I love you when I was walking out the door to go to school. I don't recall hearing I love you before I go to bed. And that's something I do with my children. I make sure before they leave, they give me my kiss, my smooches, my love, and when they come back, they do the same thing. I think you must have been privy to one or two of that encounter. So
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tracy has a way in that feminine conference to grow who you are. So you're not going in as I went in as a warrior because she has four things that she look as for women. We are a princess, we are a warrior, we are a survivor, and then we are a queen.
Okay.
I walked out as a queen, refreshed, rejuvenated, I'm new. And that's what the feminine conference was about. It was not about the beauty pageant. You had to put that aside, even though you were recognized as a queen.
Mm-hmm.
But going in and learning so much about the feminine divine was awakening, was beautiful. And I believe that everyone, every woman in Grenada should take that chance because, like I said, the Reclaiming Me classes are there for everyone, not for just the women in need, but it's there for every woman that wishes to participate. If anybody's interested in getting into the Reclaiming Me classes because you're going through something, I would literally encourage you reach out to me and I will get you there.
Okay. Now, all in all, I know that we're now looking at encouraging people. Junior just put it up there. We have a casting call going on right now. So we're trying to
Yes.
see who's interested in participating in the 2025 edition. I know
Yes.
that it doesn't stop here because I know you are going on to China as part of the contingent to support the representatives for Miss Globe International. So
Finale,
that's what
yes.
it's a phenomenal opportunity. It's not no backyard pageant. It's about women
No.
empowerment and changing life experiences. Tell us, knowing you and where you've come from, I know that we've seen a lot of interest from a lot of the young ladies in Grenada already. Tell me, what are you looking for?
Okay, so the casting call is what I'm trying to get is persons who are interested in the Mrs. Globe pageant, which is going to be happening in April in China. You have
Mhm.
to be between the ages of 26 and 44. Um, I don't like using these words, but you have to be between the sizes of 0 and 8,
For the
meaning
Mrs.
you
Globe
for the Mrs.
International.
Globe. That means you have to be slender, unbuilt, well spoken, you have a voice, you want to do something charitable. That's what we're looking for. So if you are interested in going to China, that pageant is going to be happening in Shenzhen. It would be nice to see our beautiful flag on that stage.
Mhm.
just note that with the Mrs. Globe, it's a little bit different than Mrs. Curvy Globe. With Mrs. Globe, you would be in swimsuit, you will be in your costume, you will be in your evening gown. You would also do the personality profile. Like I said, you it's just 1 minute and you have to stand up and speak. So it's not a question and answer like the regular pageant that we have in the
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean where we do all the other segments and then at the last part we stuck you with a question. So literally you just have to write what you want. I would say don't talk about, oh, I am Sheena Andrew Barry. I am from Grenada. You're wearing a sash that says that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk what is going on in your life or what your platform is about. Because take for example, like I said, for my personality profile, I literally spoke about my experience as a plus size woman and being put in a corner and deciding that that's not where I need to be. For that's just for the Mrs. Globe. We're looking for, I would love to see, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
our Grenada flag flying
Mm-hmm.
really high on that stage. Then what I would say is if you're interested in the Mrs. Classic Globe, which takes place in Palm Springs, California, you will um you will be participating. You will be in a swimsuit. You will be in evening gown. You will be in your personality profile and hold on, personality profile, swimsuits, evening
Evening
wear,
gown, costume.
and
That's
costume. And you have to be between the ages of 45 and older. That's for the Mrs. Classic Globe. And for the Mrs. Curvy Globe, which I just participated in, as I said earlier, you have to be a size 12 plus to participate. And I would love to continue to see the Grenadian flag being brought. And this is going to not also just be for growth of one or two women, but it's going to be growth for the nation. When I say the nation, is because if we can literally have the local leg and we can showcase Grenada worldwide, remember, we are on a global stage. We are among almost 80 countries participating and showcasing our country. Persons are going to be intrigued and want to come to Grenada because I was very surprised that when I went to the Feminine Divine Conference in Greece, I learned that one of the ladies who was in a pageant in California literally went home for carnival
Mm-hmm.
because she was intrigued with my video and she wanted to participate. Although she said she doesn't have all that energy, she was she was tired,
Uh-huh.
but she enjoyed every bit of it. And that was my aim, to make
Uh-huh.
sure that persons are aware of that small, beautiful island that I'm from. And it's called Grenada. It has a lot to offer. And when I say that, because even when I had to do the gift exchange, I was struggling as to what should I bring to exchange with these queens. And I decided to bring spices,
Mm-hmm.
and it was well accepted. Everybody was smelling, and it was like, "Oh, my suitcase smell," because we have a group chat, and like some of them, "Oh, my suitcase still smell as your nutmeg or your spices," and that's what I wanted to hear. And if I can get one or two people from just looking at my video to literally go home and enjoy my Grenada, that's what we want. Because I remember in the silver, there is the Globe Awards. I walked up to the song "I Come from the Islands"
Mm-hmm.
by Boise. You understand
Mm-hmm.
the Groovy
Yeah.
King? I literally asked them to play our song.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So
Yeah.
listen,
So
I know that we're looking at staging the local leg of the competition. I know the interest so far has been the curvy girls. Tell me about, so for the curvy girl that's listening now, tell me the categories for Mrs. Curvy Grenada.
So for Mrs. Curvy Grenada, what if that for that leg, you just need to remember you're going to be in summer wear, not a swimsuit. That's the good thing about it because not everyone is body positive when it comes to putting themselves out there in a swimsuit. But what Mrs. Globe done is make people accept who they are by giving you a nice summer wear. And then you would have your evening gown and your personality speech.
Mhm. Okay, wonderful. Listen, Sheena, a wealth of information. I have to extend congratulations to you. You represented us well, and you continue to represent us well, because the show. You were in Palm Springs when?
June.
You were in Palm Springs in June. Last month you were in Greece. You're heading to China in April. So the journey has just begun for you.
Yep.
And that journey is something that another young Grenadian woman or several Grenadian women can embrace, depending on the categories of the competition. If someone needed to contact you, how can they reach you?
Okay, so you guys can reach me via Facebook or Instagram Messenger. I am also on WhatsApp because I am using my Boston number, which is 617-697-6461. And you can also reach me via email, which is at Mrs. Grenada, Mrs. Grenada Globe at gmail.com.
Okay. Now, Sheena, listen, I am always happy to chat with you. I want to thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club this morning. Before you go, any final words for the young women of Grenada, not only those that you're encouraging to participate in the local leg of the competition, but just the women in general. Final words.
Okay, so to all women, no matter your shape, size, or color, you are beautiful in your own skin. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, you pat that nose, you clean that face up, you hold your head high, and you reaffirm in the mirror, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am a queen. And when you step out of your house, remember to put your shoulders up, lean your back, and walk as a queen that you are, because no matter what is going on in your life, remember to be the queen that you're meant to be.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Now, Sheena, I want to thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. Folks, of course, you tune into the Wake Up Club. It's another fantastic Friday in pure Grenada. I want to encourage you, last week I told you to call somebody and check on them because you need to. Today, I'm asking you to spread positivity via social media. To the moms and dads out there, I'm asking you today, I know I'm asking plenty, but it's not much for you to do. In your daughters and even in your sons, reaffirm how beautiful they are, how handsome they are, their potential. Make sure that you're telling your children how much you love them and appreciate them. It starts at home. It can change a child's life. Folks, thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club. It's always a pleasure being with you, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic Friday. Ladies, remember your queens, and ladies, support each other, adjust and help fix your sister's crown. Don't tear her down. Have a good one, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.
Looking for a hassle-free way to rent a car in Grenada? Welcome to Ride Car Rental, offering efficient, time-saving service with affordable rates and 100% paperless rentals. Whether you're visiting or need a quick ride, we've got you covered. Call now at 473-422-1011 and get behind the wheel today. Ride Car Rental, where convenience meets the road.
Are you looking to take your business or event to the next level? Advertise on Ride Along Live and reach over 10 million viewers worldwide every month. With a global audience tuning in for the latest news, entertainment, and culture, your message will get the exposure it deserves. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your brand to a diverse and engaged audience. Ride Along Live, where the world watches and your business grows. Contact us today to get started.
You call me to lift the level, high the level, raise the level, up it, up it. What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Experience the thrill of Riders Excursion and Tours weekly e-bike rides. Gather your family and friends for an unforgettable ride through stunning landscapes. Book your adventure today at ridersabike.com or call 473-422-1011. Don't miss out. Let's ride.